Washington, Senator JD Vance is set to engage in a vice presidential debate against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, hosted by CBS News on Tuesday. The two candidates, each with distinct backgrounds, aim to demonstrate why their respective ticket is the most qualified for the presidency. As the junior senator from Ohio, elected in 2022, Vance's political experience is relatively brief. He gained national attention in 2016 with the publication of his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, which detailed his upbringing in the Rust Belt. At 40 years old, he is now pursuing the nation's second-highest office. Throughout his public career, Vance's perspectives have evolved, particularly regarding former President Trump. Once a prominent critic of Trump, Vance has transformed into a steadfast supporter of the former president's policies and vision. Here are additional insights into Vance's positions and record in anticipation of the vice presidential debate. JD Vance's views and record on IVF. Vance, selected as Trump's vice presidential candidate, has faced renewed scrutiny over his previous remarks regarding cat ladies. Despite this, he has voiced his endorsement of fertility treatments and advocates for policies he considers to be pro-family. Of course, we want to make it easier for mums and dads to choose life if, of course, they're in a terrible situation where they have fertility problems, Vance told Megyn Kelly in July, adding that he believes babies are a profound moral good. The issue of in vitro fertilization, IVF, emerged as a significant topic in the political arena following a ruling by the Alabama Supreme Court in February, which determined that frozen embryos could be classified as children. This decision prompted providers in the state to temporarily suspend IVF treatments. In the aftermath, numerous Republicans, including former President Trump, have publicly endorsed these widely sought-after fertility treatments. Trump has proposed initiatives to make IVF accessible at no cost to patients, either by mandating insurance coverage or by having the government assume the financial responsibility. Democrats have sought to emphasize the Republican stance on this matter, criticizing Senator Vance for his voting record, or lack thereof, on two pieces of legislation aimed at establishing a nationwide right to IVF earlier this year. Vance voted against the bill in June and abstained from voting in September. Notably, nearly all Republicans opposed the legislation on both occasions, despite their stated support for IVF. In June, Vance endorsed a collective statement from all Senate Republicans affirming their commitment to fertility treatments, asserting their strong support for continued nationwide access to IVF. Additionally, Vance has raised concerns regarding religious freedom in relation to IVF, suggesting that Christian hospitals should not be mandated to offer these fertility services. Abortion. Vance has a history of endorsing limitations on abortion, indicating in 2022 his support for a national restriction on the procedure after 15 weeks of pregnancy, while also advocating for the complete abolition of abortion during his Senate campaign. However, he has since moderated his position to more closely reflect that of Trump. "I am pro-life. I want to save as many babies as possible," Vance said on Face the Nation in May, arguing that it's totally reasonable to oppose late-term abortions. But I think Trump's approach here is trying to settle a very tough issue and actually empower the American people to decide it for themselves. LGBTQ rights. Vance has encountered backlash from LGBTQ rights organizations due to his positions, particularly regarding transgender matters. In 2023, he introduced legislation aimed at prohibiting gender-affirming care for minors, as well as a bill intended to prevent the State Department from permitting the use of the gender marker X on passports. Foreign policy. Vance is affiliated with a faction of the GOP that has become progressively more isolationist in recent years, particularly under Trump's influence. He has emerged as one of the most outspoken Republican senators against further aid to Ukraine, proposing late last year that the nation should relinquish territory to Russia as a means to facilitate a negotiated resolution to the conflict. More recently, the Marine veteran has indicated that the war might conclude with the establishment of a demilitarized zone separating Russia and Ukraine. The economy Vance has acknowledged the apprehensions regarding the potential increase in national debt due to the proposals. However, he has referenced Trump's tariff plans, which he believes could mitigate the effects of the tax reductions on the deficit. Additionally, he has consistently expressed support for protectionist trade policies. Immigration. Vance has articulated his stance against immigration mainly by emphasizing its effects on employment opportunities for Americans.